Okay, well, welcome everyone to this meeting of the Finance Strategy Management Committee. It's always nice to see people come along. I presume you're coming to talk about the grant applications, and you're very welcome. Thank you for coming. So, item number one: apologies for absence.
We have apologies from the Mayor and also Councillors Hoskins and Reynolds.
And happy birthday to Councillor Hoskins. Declarations of interest. Do we have any? Public participation. And before we start, the grants item is number 7 on the agenda, and I suggest that we bring that forward to immediately after public participation with the Commission. The committee, is happy with that? Okay, right. So we won't let you sit through the. You're welcome to sit through the whole meeting, but yeah, we'll discuss the grant applications as soon as public participation is done. So if you could give your name and organisation, and we may ask you a few questions in the course of public participation, if there are things that need clarifying. So who would like to start? Jump on the right. Oh, you might not be a grant application, unless you've got a second hat, but I haven't seen anywhere else.
This is a guy from New Street. This is back to the jetty on the north of Sorbonne. I don't think I had any news about how far it's going, but I would point out it was at this meeting last year that I raised it with the strategy committee. It was on the meeting in 22 March. I raised it at full council, that's 3 years ago. So Sorbonne have, roughly speaking, probably drawn another £9,000 this year from renting that jetty out. Maybe 25,000 in the 3 years since I first raised it. And since they've been cited on there, probably 150 odd thousand, of which I believe any town council has not had to see a penny. I'd just like to sort of emphasise the point that this money would be very useful on a night like tonight when we have people here applying for money that doesn't seem to be available. And that's just my point. I wonder if you've got any use for me.
I'll let the town clerk answer on that, but firstly, yeah, thank you for your continued interest in this. The facilities and amenities that belong to the town and that we manage on behalf of the town are very, very important that we do that. And as you say, the finances don't always allow us to give it.
I've put that in your risk assessment, actually. There is a high risk of misuse of council land. And to mitigate that, there should be zero tolerance of infringements. And legal and whatever backing to support that zero tolerance.
Yeah, you are right. However, we have to be certain that the legal steps that we take are backed up in law, and the town clerk will go on to explain that. But yes, you're exactly right that this town council, even though we're relatively comfortably off for financial terms, the more we can give to local groups who come along and ask us for grants and many other things, the better it is for the town. So your point's well made. This is an important matter. So I'll let the town clerk answer on the technical details.
Certainly. So just as a very quick recap, so this is for a jetty which is one of Sorbonne Estates jetties, which is sited opposite Singers Park, which is council-owned property. They do have a right to extend their walkway north onto council property. They have that in their deeds, but what they don't have the right to do is then install a jetty coming off there. The jetty was actually installed in 2012, although it was only brought to the council's attention by Mr. Guy a few years ago. Following that, we did enter negotiations with Sorbonne Estates. We also raised it with the Environment Agency as well. It was a long, ongoing saga. Sorbonne Estates have even though they seemed willing to negotiate, actually were dragging their feet quite a lot. And the Environment Agency wouldn't intervene to revoke their accommodations licence for that jetty until the council actually proved ownership of the land opposite. Now, although the majority of Singers Park is is registered for the council. There is a stretch of land which is the public highway, which is between Singers Park and the river, which is not registered under the council due to a long ongoing saga of about a decade ago. So we then took steps to register that in our name. That was submitted to the land registry some time ago, but the land registry are taking some time to consider that application. And as soon as we hear back on the application, then we will then be in a position, if it is granted, then we will then be in a position to take a firmer stance against Sorbonne, which we're not able to do at the moment. So in summary, we're waiting for the outcome of the land registry application.
I think it's fair to say that, yeah, we share your frustration at the slowness of progress. If you've got a further quick
Could
comment.
the Mayor, on behalf of the council, address the land registry, explain that it is costing this town council money? Could you write to the MP? Could he do something?
The Mayor in particular has had a number of interventions with the Environment Agency on different matters,
I know.
as I'm sure you're aware. And we'll consider whether or not we think another letter might expedite matters. I wouldn't hold your breath, but at some point a ruling will come through. But these organisations aren't always receptive to the agendas of a small town council like Henley, unfortunately. However, your suggestion might be worth considering. We'll take it back and look at whether the town clerk or the mayor or someone can ask them if a decision is imminent, and if not, why not, and when we are likely to see that decision made. How long ago did we make the application? About a year?
Not quite as long ago as that. In short, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I don't think the land registry will be interested in any way, shape or form in the interests of Henley Town Council.
Yes, sorry that I can't give more positive views, but at some point they will make a decision, and then we can proceed in the sort of ways you've suggested, for the reasons you've suggested, and getting the benefits that you've highlighted. Right, thank you for your question. Right, who's next? Gentleman on the right, or my right.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here on behalf of Headway Thames Valley, a local charity, has its base in Bunahall up on Grays Road. And Headway Thames Valley supports those who have sustained a brain injury and their families. And the brain injury can be a life-changing event. Depending on its severity, it can affect memory, attention, and the victims can be faced with changes to their sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. Can have difficulty with language, both expressing it and understanding it, and experience depression, anxiety, personality change, and often socially inappropriate behaviour. So Headway is there to support people and to help, as far as their injury permits, their rehabilitation. You'll see from the application that's been submitted to you, this is done in a number of ways, and the cost of providing this support is about £200,000 a year, and we are looking to the council to give favourable consideration to a grant for £2,500 each year for the next 3 years to just cover our general underlying costs. So then if some of that expense is covered, then we are free to concentrate on seeking funding for particular projects. So I hope that gives you an idea of who we are and what we do. If there are any questions, I'd be only too happy to deal with them.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you've been our tenant up at Brunner Hall now for 15 years or more?
I think it's since 2008.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And we were, before that, at Townlands Hospital
Right.
for about 15 years, I think.
Yeah, you're well established in
So we've
Henley.
been in Henley sometime.
And a lot of us are familiar with the excellent work that you do in supporting these victims of very, very serious injuries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's like to go next? Hand up. Anyone? The lady on the right, on my right again.
Good evening, I'm from Lowland Rescue, Oxfordshire.